Uh, it's that's right, and it's over to Rabbi Khalili.
Good morning, everyone. Special Muslim Tov to Martin on his special birthday. Long and healthy and happy life. Full of mitzvahs and nachas. May the zchut of our learning be protection to our soldiers, which and all other kochot bitachon, they are working very hard to keep us secure in our homeland, in Israel and here in the diaspora. And also, may HaKadosh Baruch Hu grant the Chatufim the freedom, and they should come back, Bezrat Hashem, safe and sound to their families. We are fast approaching Tisha B'Av, so I thought it's appropriate to focus a little bit on this Chag, so to speak, because the Megillah in Echad says, Kara Lai Moed. HaKadosh Baruch Hu called this date Tisha B'Av a Moed. A Moed we understand as a Chag, so should be focused on this. The Gemara in Ta'anit, in Yoma 9b says, why was the second Beit HaMikdash destroyed? And the Gemara answers, even though we were then Ba'alei Torah, we were Torah learners, we had great Chachamim with us, nevertheless, we had amongst us Sinat Chinam. And the problem I have with this Gemara, so to speak, is that we talk a lot about Sinat Chinam on the weeks preceding Tisha B'Av, but as soon as Tisha B'Av ends, this concept, with all respect, flies out the window, and we go on holiday mode and until along comes and then start focusing on Rosh Hashanah. And I'm intrigued why this happens. We talk so much about Sinat Chinam, and then when the fast ends, we forget about it till next year. And I ask myself why. I'm not excluding myself, I'm just asking myself why. So the answer I came up with was that we really do not understand what Sinat Chinam actually is. So therefore we have no tools, no skills, no way of actually dealing with it in order to better the phenomenon. So in order to understand what Sinat Chinam is and what we can do with it, I want to understand first what Chinam is. And obviously our first source is the Torah itself. The very first time when the Torah uses the word Chinam is in Parashat Mishpatim, in the laws of Jewish male and female slaves. The Torah tells about a male slave. When he works for 6 years, the Torah uses the expression "V'yatza chinam." No, sorry, "Yetzeh lachofshi chinam." He will be set free, chinam, free. And when it comes to a girl servant, the Torah also says "V'yatza chinam" and kasef. She will be set free with no money. I understand from the use of this word chinam that chinam means the following. It might mean she doesn't have to do anything in order to have her freedom. When the time comes, she can go free. It means she doesn't have to pay anything, or he doesn't have to pay anything. And there is no other reason for what is happening. The Torah says chinam, free. So I understand that the root of the word chinam, free, means there is no action whatsoever connected to what is happening. There's no absolute reason for what's happening other than it's happening. So free means free of any action involved to it. And that is important because understanding what sinat chinam is basically means it's a hatred that's got no reason whatsoever. Now, we are all very intelligent people, and none of us will wake up one morning and say, oh, now I have decided for no reason I'm going to hate Ploni and Moni. I'm going to hate this person, I'm going to hate that person. No intelligent person will do that. So why would the Torah use the terminology sinat chinam? And now I found a very intriguing but very compelling answer in the words of a psychologist in America. In the 1920s, a gentleman and with the name Edward Thorndike came up with a new concept called the halo effect. That means that before you even open your mouth, say something, interact with anyone, there is a halo, so to speak, an expression of you that comes forth. And upon that, the person who is interacting with you already has an opinion of you. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to behave in any special way. The very fact that you come and somebody has an initial impression of you, completely passive, that sets the tone to how that person is going to view you, is going to judge you, and is going to interact with you. That gentleman, Mr. Thorndike, says the following. If you, for example, come to Shaul for social gatherings, and you're smiling, you are well-dressed, well looked after, it's very more likely that people will have a favorable opinion of you because you look nicer. So it's immediately and the fact that people are going to think of you as a good person. And if you come with a sour face, or if you are engaging in an argument with someone else completely related to the viewer, they are going to immediately form a negative opinion of you, and everything else that follows will be negative. Why? Because it happens. And the worst part, so to speak, is that this, more often than not, happens unconsciously. You are not aware of it. You're absolutely not aware of it. It happens. And let me share you two stories. One of them is very personal to me because it happened with me 27 years ago. It's a long time. I have good, some white beard as well. 27 years ago, I was about 20 or 21. I was an apprentice of a very well-known mohel in Yerushalayim called Rabbi Yehuda Giat, a Yemenite. And I would take him with me to various brisim around the country. At the time, even to some of the Palestinian territories. And one day, he phoned me, said, we're going to a Brit in a house. Make sure you're ready on time. So I had a Brit. So I put on my best jacket, my best tie, my hat, and I made sure I was properly dressed, and I was on my 20, 21. The rabbi already with a very white beard, shirt and trousers, no tie, no hat, no nothing. We knock on the door. A guy on his 60s and a young bocho on his 20s. Whom do you think the father thought was the mom? Yeah. He came to me with Shalom Aleichem and I said, sorry. The young guy. That is how we react to the halo effect. Let me give you a second story about who is likely to err based on this effect. And this story is recorded in Ta'anit 20a-b. Correct. And that story happened with none other than Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the famous Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Elazar, who stayed with him in the cave for 13 years, a very saintly rabbi. The Gemara tells us the story. He was one time he left the Bet Midrash. He was riding his donkey home, and a gentleman who was unfortunately disfigured on his face approached the rabbi very honorably and said, "Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi." And Rabbi Elazar, he was taken aback, and he said to him in very harsh words, "Reika, empty vessel. Are the people in your town as ugly as yourself?" That's none other than a very saintly rabbi who stayed in a cave for 13 years, eating nothing else than carrots and drinking nothing else than water. And to preserve the only clothes he had, he buried himself in sand for 13 years. That's the rabbi who can err because of this effect. So the person told him, "I don't know, maybe you should go to my maker and tell him the vessel you made is very ugly." So Rabbi Elazar was not fooled. He understood the rebuke. He got down from his donkey. He prostrated himself to the ground. And he said to him, "Na'aneti slachli. I have erred. Please forgive me." To make the long story short, it forgave him at the end with the condition it would make sure he wouldn't err this way in the future. Now, we now understand there is something, a human condition that makes us make a mistake. It's human, nobody's perfect. But what can we do about it? We cannot command somebody not to feel love. We cannot command someone to feel hatred or not to feel. It's an emotion. Emotions are reactions that we have. So what can we do? So Maimonides gives us a hint. At the beginning of Ilchot Yesodei Torah, when it tells us that we have a mitzvah of love HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it tells us, if you contemplate, if you look at nature, and you see how intricate, how complex is the world that Hashem created, and you created all of that for us human beings, that means for you, immediately you feel gratitude and you feel an inclination to love Hashem. So that means Maimonides is saying, you want to cultivate love in your heart, you have to do something practical. You have to come up with a practical solution that it will result in you feeling love. So what is the solution that we can do? So the first Rabbi of Chabad, Rabbi Shneur Zalman, gave an interesting suggestion in his Tanya, Perek 32. He says the following: when you see a human being coming towards you, you should not look at the vessel, so to speak, at the body, at the physical appearance of that person, man or woman, Jewish or non-Jewish. You should first focus on the words of the rabbis. Chaviv Adram shenivra b'tzemen. beloved is the person because he was created or she was created in the image of God. That means that because that person was born, and by being born, he was born with the image of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that on itself prevents you of misjudging that person, at least totally. It puts on the brakes, so to speak, on your reaction by focusing on the dignity that person deserves simply for the fact that Hashem willed that that person was born. That already can give you an indication that that person has deserves the benefit of the doubt or deserves to be judged or considered better than you are probably thinking, and that is a more practical solution for what we call sinat chinam. So the next time, and I include myself on this, obviously, you come up, you meet someone, man, woman, that you might not consider them your first option for your best friend. That's fine. But as long as you tell yourself that person has the same right for dignity and self-value that I do, because God created him or her the same way he created me, that will help you act in a more benevolent way towards that person. That is a practical way of us with dealing Bezrat Hashem with Sinat Chinam. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you so much for that.
Sorry, when you switch off.
Want to switch off? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll surprise those on Zoom. We've got questions first.
Just an observation.
Yes.
There are lots of videos ranging between 5 and 10 minutes on social media, which are a non-Jewish variation of the theme of exactly what you've been speaking about. One example is somebody comes, he's got a ticket on an airline, first class. The woman sitting there says, "You can't be sitting here. You know, look at the way you look." There are numerous videos like that for people in job positions. And it's an organization, I think they're called Daram, and they're trying to better people. So it's very much what you said.
This is day to day. The halo effect, it's known, I mean, that's human resources. It's halo and horn, is what's called now. So if I look at somebody's CV and the school they went to, you have a good view of them or a bad view, where they live. And it's absolutely, it's subconscious. So they're trying everyday life in recruitment, trying to find ways to take away the opportunity to discriminate unconsciously.
It's not easy, but certainly doable.
Okay, I'll say goodbye to those on Zoom. Have a good week. Have an easy fast on Sunday, and we'll finish off the proceedings.